Most New Year's goals fail, not because they're bad goals, but because we try to chase all of them at once. Here's what I mean. Get fit, grow a business, wake up earlier, save money, read more, eat clean, travel, all starting January 1st. It looks inspiring until real life shows up. Now watch what happens when AI takes that same overwhelming list and sequences it, turning competing goals into phases, adjusting the timelines, and breaking the first phase into weekly actions you can actually follow on a normal schedule. That's the difference between burnout by February and a plan that fits your real life without needing monk-level discipline. Because the problem isn't ambition, it's stacking everything at once. When goals are layered instead of sequenced, they collapse. When they're phased, they become survivable, and that's where consistency lives. So here's how I use AI to turn ambitious resolutions into a phased plan with realistic timelines and weekly steps that make progress feel achievable instead of overwhelming. The first step is deliberately messy. I dump my goals into an AI chat exactly as they exist in my head. No structure, no filtering, stuff like get healthier, grow revenue, or finally fix my sleep schedule. Then I ask the model one specific thing. Clarify the intent, not the tasks. I don't want a to-do list yet. I want to know what I actually mean. Because get healthier could mean lifting, cardio, sleep, diet, or just not feeling exhausted all the time. And grow revenue might mean more clients, higher prices, or fewer distractions. This matters because vague goals create fictional plans, and fiction doesn't survive the gym or a slow sales month. So in ChatGPT or Claude, pick your flavor, I use this prompt. Clarify the core objective behind each of these goals. Reframe each one as a clear outcome that reflects real-life constraints and what success would actually look like without proposing tasks or steps yet. That's when the fog lifts. I can see whether a goal needs expansion, narrowing, or reframing entirely. And that clarity alone removes half the friction because now I have a direction before I start building anything. Once the intent is clear, then it's worth adding constraints. This is the part most people skip, and it's why resolutions die. You need constraints. Time, money, energy, and priorities. So once the intent is clear, I ask the AI to pressure test it against reality. I use this prompt. Given the clarified intent for each goal, define realistic constraints based on time availability, energy, lifestyle, and trade-offs. But here's the catch. This only works if I give the model honest context. If I'm already working 50-hour weeks, I'm not training for a triathlon on Tuesdays. And pretending otherwise is how plans collapse. When the constraints are real, the output changes immediately. Not 7 workouts, 3. Not 4 new projects, 1 focus area. Not 10 hours of sleep, a consistent, realistic target. This is where goals stop feeling overwhelming, because constraints don't limit ambition, they focus it. And when the model mirrors those limits back to me, I can see what actually fits into my life instead of forcing fantasy into my calendar. Now we're ready to turn constraints into action. Here's where the plan actually takes shape. I ask the AI to break the goal down across time, but not in a cheesy Gantt chart way. I want frictionless milestones that respect how real life works. At this point, I focus on one goal, so the breakdown stays clean and usable. For this demo, I'm using Get Healthier. I use this prompt. For the goal Get Healthier, divide it into quarterly milestones, then monthly focus areas, then weekly habits, with each level respecting the constraints we defined earlier. Keep it realistic for a normal work schedule and concise. Sometimes the breakdown is solid right away, other times I tweak it because no model knows my exact schedule unless I refine it. This isn't about outsourcing judgment, it's about accelerating clarity. Instead of a pile of habits, I get a progression. The year breaks into phases instead of everything happening at once. Each month has a clear focus instead of competing priorities, and by the time I reach the weekly level, the actions are small enough to repeat without burning out. That's the shift. Momentum beats intensity every time. But even with a timeline, progress falls apart without prioritization. This part might be the most underrated skill in planning, ignoring things on purpose. Not quitting, choosing. And this is where AI becomes genuinely useful. Once I have a timeline and constraints, I want to stress test the plan against reality, because this is usually where people quietly overcommit. Before I ask the model to prioritize, I add a few honest thoughts, the kind of extra ambition that sneaks in later and breaks everything. Then I prompt, given my goals, timeline, constraints, and these extra considerations, point out what doesn't realistically fit right now and should be deferred so the plan stays sustainable. This is where uncomfortable truths show up. You can't launch multiple projects, overhaul your routine, wake up earlier, and add new skills, all at the same time. Something always gives. The AI doesn't make decisions for me, it just makes the trade-offs visible. For example, I might defer a second side project so I can protect sleep and stay consistent with training. And when a plan fits real life instead of fantasy life, it stops feeling fragile. It becomes sustainable. Now we can turn that clarity into a weekly system. This is where the plan meets Monday morning. I ask the AI to help me design a weekly check-in ritual that fits my actual schedule. 15 to 20 minutes, not a 2-hour productivity cosplay session. At this point, everything already exists. Goals, constraints, priorities. So instead of planning more, I'm just maintaining alignment. My prompt is simple. Create a concise weekly review ritual I can complete in 15 to 20 minutes to reflect on progress, adjust constraints, and update priorities based on what actually happened this week. The output is practical. It usually looks like a short sequence. What worked, what didn't, what needs adjusting, and what actually matters next week. That's the glue, because consistency beats intensity, and a realistic weekly ritual keeps the plan alive long after the champagne has evaporated. It's something I can drop into a notes app or calendar and follow without overthinking. So let's wrap this up. Most resolutions fail because they rely on motivation. Plans succeed because they respect reality. AI doesn't magically fix discipline, it won't drag you to the gym or write your book for you. But it will remove friction, it will clarify intent, it will surface constraints, and it will turn ambition into smaller, repeatable actions that actually fit into a real week, not an ideal one. So if you want 2026 to look different, don't make a wish, make a plan with a thinking partner that helps you build it piece by piece. If this helped you plan your year, leave a like so the algorithm knows this wasn't just me talking to myself again, and subscribe if you want more workflows like this. Happy New Year. I'll see you in the next one. Keep working smarter.